Hello, welcome to my channel. This is a rather late night WiPnChat for me, but I started this bit of my diamond painting earlier this evening, or this afternoon even, and I want to finish it. I thought I would maybe have a chat with you while I take my tea bag out of my tea, and just wind down, hopefully, for the evening. Alright, grab a drink, grab your work. It's late here, so I really want to crack on with this and not have too late a night because I have work in the morning. Okay, one thing I did want to address, and it's something that's come up with victoriasmoon.co.uk, and the assumption that people are making that because a website has a particular address means that's where the store is from as well. Okay, this comes down to something I grew up with in my childhood called Guaranteed Irish, and something that I've come to know in Australia as in Made in Australia, and the kangaroo badge, I guess, for want of a better term, and just some understanding on that. Okay, the situation is anyone can open a website anywhere in the world with the root address. Now, I'm not going to get into the technical details because I vaguely know them, but I don't know them, and I'm so glad my husband's not sitting here criticizing me for saying anything about .coms, .co.uk's or anything else. Put it this way: you need to have a domain with those roots, and there might be certain criteria for you to be able to get those addresses and keep them. It doesn't mean you necessarily have to have a business in those places or anything else. So when I ordered my Victoria's Moon, no, actually before I ordered the Victoria's Moon, when I got sent the email from Victoria's Moon, it was the first I knew of them, and I read the information that they had on the website, and Victoria was somebody, and this you can read about yourself because it's an open website, in the About section. There's sometimes quite a bit of information in the About section. Whether it's true or not, well, that remains to be seen. And I don't know if I'll entertain the conspiracy theory. I might just sit on that one. I know there's a couple of ideas permeating out there, and I will wait and see what transpires on that one. But got the information and read it, and Victoria apparently was told by her psychologist to take up the hobby of diamond painting. I think, and I could be wrong on this without rehashing it, it was a couple of weeks ago when I read it. I think she said in 2012. Now, I don't know that diamond painting has existed that long, but let's just go with her psychologist recommended this hobby, and she had a passion for it and she wanted to share it with other people and blah blah blah, and she came up with this handy dandy website which has over 8,000 images apparently. Actually, there's no apparently about it. They have a colossal amount of images, and that blew me away when I first looked at the website. So their images are good. However, there is no way in hell, I'm sorry, England, there is no way in hell there is a factory in England at this stage that is producing diamond painting. And for all you people who think there is a factory in England that is willing to pay minimum wage to an English person to do a diamond painting, that's going to sell it to you for £30, you are dreaming. It's just not going to happen. They can't afford it. The point is, these things, okay, maybe not Diamond Art Club, different story. These things, these diamond paintings, cost probably maybe £2-3, £2-3, depending on what your currency is. Not much to make, to manufacture. Throw in a pittance of a wage, because that's what they pay in China for these kind of jobs. a pittance of a wage, and you're talking about a huge markup. Now, I don't know why and what the thinking was behind Victoria's Moon to give away, I think I've seen in the ballpark of 20 YouTubers who've received a free diamond painting, all worth, from a purchaser's point of view, all worth about £30 each. Okay, there is no way in hell they could afford to do that as a business and then say to Mrs. Coffee on the email, oh, you're going to put us out of business because your diamond paintings are not good enough, and she has 8,000 plus subscribers. 8.7, Mrs. Coffee, which is amazing. Bullabus to that one. That's a clap. Bullabus, right? Anyway, they just can't afford the wages in the UK, just like they can't afford the wages in Australia. Now, I don't know what Diamond Art Club are paying their staff, but it seems to be a really good place to work. They have an extremely good ethic, so I can't imagine they're on minimum wage, or they're over minimum wage anyway. But they're not going to be some poor little Asian in some kind of sweatshop that we've seen on the YouTube videos of how our diamond paintings are made. So please, 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 people, subscribers, viewers, please, don't think that because the website happens to be .co.uk, .com.au, .com, that it doesn't originate from a different country. When I approached Treasure Studios Art, I wanted to support a fellow Aussie diamond painter or creator. Now, even Rachel does not create the diamond paintings in Australia. She may be insulted by this term, and I will make a disclaimer on this one. I don't fully understand how these businesses work. And I'm talking about drop shipping. Anyone can set up a drop ship company, as far as I know. And I think what it is you have your front office wherever the heck you are, and you cause somebody else to hold your stock, and you cause somebody else to send it out. But your shop front may be elsewhere. Rachel may or may not be doing that. I'm not holding it against her. I know some dropshippers get quite a bad name, but this isn't about naming badly or anything like that. It's just about saying she has a shop front, and she sits in her office in Victoria, which is just across the pond from me, and she has worked on some of the images, not all of them, because some of them might be stock images that she's got. I think they are, because I've seen them on AliExpress as well, some of the birch tree water scene kind of thing, because I've got one from Huacan. I think I've actually got 2 or 3 of them from Huacan. Her signature range, though, is Rachel's. It's Rachel's, it's her creators, and whoever else works in her design company. Now, what Rachel is doing, she's working on an item with me, and she is tweaking the photo in her office, and then she's sending it to the company that she ships it from. I'm not sure what province they're in, but I think they're in China. Some of the things being said about Victoria's Moon is the diamond paintings are coming from a number of different countries. I didn't actually pay much attention, I don't think, to the country of my 2 Victoria Moon receivers when I received them. So I purchased one, and I got the review copy, and I actually bought the item the same day as my review copy. My review copy arrived Thursday, I think, last week, and my purchased item was received on, I think, the Monday. Most of my diamond paintings come through my local courier, who we love to bits because he's fun. But so I actually don't know if DHL came into it in any way, shape or form. I'm not quite sure how our postal service work, but I think what happens is DHL might work maybe on the mainland, but in Australia it shares some of the carriage, and then Australia Post might take over from it in Tasmania. So we just get the Tasmanian courier section of Tasmania Post. It might get slightly priority treatment. It certainly doesn't go in with the general mail, but then it's a box too, so packages get treated differently regardless whether you send them through Australia Post or whether you send them with a courier. The only couriers I know are things like TNT. And I don't normally get deliveries from them except with maybe a high priority item, and it's not in the general mailing system. So I'll pay attention to my next one. I've got one more coming, and this is where the website information comes in, okay? When I had done some research on Victoria's Moon, because I didn't know who the heck was kind of saying, hey, we saw your website and we want to offer you this, blah, 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 and I'm kind of thinking, do you really know me, or have you actually watched any of my videos? So I went and I did some snooping, as I do, because that's how I am. So I became familiar with the logo, which I think is from Sailor Moon, which is huge over in China, Asia, with the anime crowd. So the logo is the fairy or something, and she's got a ribbon. Anyway, it's a purple logo. And it's quite distinctive. It's a little kind of Peter Panish, I suppose. That's, I think, what I think of when I see it. So I just happened, as I do with Facebook, I just happened to be scrolling down my page, and normally I see ads for things like, I forgive me for this pronunciation, I don't know if it's correct, Oloe, O-L-O-E-E, okay? Very expensive diamond painting shop. I did an unboxing just the other day because one of their feature images is this beautiful Celtic tree with, this beautiful tree with Celtic knots. I happen to call it Celtic tree knot. I probably should have named it something different. I was initially calling it a Celtic knot tree, and then it just didn't quite sit. So anyway, it's called a Celtic tree knot in my catalogue and my brain for now. So saw this image in the ads, and Paint with Diamonds often pops up, and because Paint with Diamonds has such shocking reviews from most people, it's like, oh god, it's that one again. Well, all of a sudden, this website called Diamond Painting Club, no, not Diamond Painting Club, Diamond Painting .club popped up on the ad. By golly, there seems to be so many ads on Facebook, it's insane. So the logo popped up, and it's the same as Victoria's Moon, and I'm going, oh, what's going on? So I went and I checked out this website. Well, it seems to be the exact same website, but it's a .com.au thing. I'm thinking, yay, Aussie, what's going on? So I messaged Alvina, who had sent out the review, and I said, hey, what do you know about this website? Well, her response was, we have many websites around the world. And I kind of thought, oh, well, that's kind of interesting. So I don't know if they've got them in different languages too. I haven't really... No, I have, actually. I tell a lie. I have done an image search for the logo, and I only found it on the two. I found it with Victoria's Moon, and I found it with Diamond Painting Club. And that was about where my search kind of ended. So, again, if Alvina's got this Diamond Painting Club, she can't be in the same office, in the same location as .co.uk. So, who knows where she is? Do I really care? Not really, to be honest. I know it's not an Australian company. I don't care. Now the thing is, with us, with the guaranteed Irish thing, when I grew up, there was a big push when I was a kid for Irish to support homegrown goods. There was a bit of a slump in the market. We had very few things that were genuinely made in Ireland, and the Irish manufacturers were suffering because products were coming in and they were cheaper and they were nastier, and the competition was so fierce. And as a consumer, we're bombarded with stuff every single day. So the way that they countered this, I guess, was having this little conglomeration thing in a logo of a G incorporating an I. So it was the Guaranteed Irish logo. So it was kind of like a G on the outside, and inside in the silhouette was an I. And that was how they guaranteed what was made and manufactured in Ireland. Okay, now there is a difference here, because there is also a setup where you can be designing the item in a particular country and you get it made and manufactured elsewhere. And this is my point, I guess, in that the front door might be in one place, but then the people who make it are in another. And in this case, I don't think there's anything English about the company. English is not Alvina's first language, I don't think. Alvina is not an English name. Now, that's not to say she's not from an Eastern European country or anything like that. There are certainly some unusual names out there these days. But I don't think Victoria's Moon is English. But that's not the point, okay? It's not just about picking on Victoria's Moon. It's about knowing your company, knowing what they're capable of, knowing what they actually do. So we've got creators on the diamond painting community, I suppose. Now, you guys in the States, I'm sorry, you are so spoiled. I know you've got a lot more people and you seem to have a lot more resources, but you are so spoiled. Shipping is next to nothing for you. And you have creators who have access to dollar stores, and they can create pens. Now, again, you've got people who don't want to exploit. They want to create and do things for a fair wage. And then you've got people who want to do it and have maximum markup. Now, I'm not going to name names. But there are people in the diamond painting world who are making items for diamond paintings. And some are charging a reasonable fee for the item. They're still making a profit. And then there are people that are making with identical items and having like a 200-300% markup on the same item, and this is on multiple products. I've seen an ad, not an ad, I suppose a promotion just recently. I need some more wax or glue tack. I've seen a promotion just recently for an item, and it was at a set price, and I exclaimed to my husband, because I have this item and I bought it from China and I know how much it cost, and if this person is doing this thing as a store, well, you'd think they're probably buying the item in bulk. Now, when you buy things individually, you don't expect to get discounts, but when you buy things in bulk, you sure as hell do. So not only is she getting China prices probably, she's also getting potentially a bulk discount, and she's charging 200, 300, 400% more than what I can pay on Ali for the identical item. I don't know if that's ethical. I think maybe it's just down to buyer beware. There's certainly cheaper out there. Shop around. Now, some of the work is being done absolutely in the States. There are lots of creators out there. So you've got Richworks. He's based in England. You've got Lazen, who is, I think, in the States. You've got Jen and Dale from Diamond Pens, with the Z. They're in Canada. I don't know of any other resin diamond painter, wood turner kind of thing in Australia yet. I wish to God there was some, because I sure as hell would support them. I'm paying upwards of $50 plus for a couple of RachelRaeCraft pens, because it's not worth my while having one sent to me. These resin pens, they cost, again, a couple of pounds maybe to make. A couple of pounds to, well, okay, it takes time for the guys to make them. There are some absolutely better quality than others, and we can see that in the stuff that Wayne produces from Moon Zero store. He's producing resin pens. Personally, I don't like the blanks. I don't think they're pretty. His turning patterns and everything seem to be reasonably okay, but I have heard from somebody who has bought a pen from him, bought 2 pens actually from him, or from Moon Zero, and I think the end that the pen went into cracked, and something else went wrong with something else, so they weren't too impressed. I haven't tried them yet, and look, they're new, so I think Wayne is still learning if he's actually the one who's doing them. So, fair play to him. So from that point of view, I need to find out what colour that was. Might be an N. My daughter got into my diamonds, or into my bottles earlier, and jumbled them all up again. I should have taken a photo, but she's done it before, and she's mixed all the jars, and she turned some of them upside down, and it was like, really? She thankfully did not open it, and I have to remember to put them away tonight before I go, because she will be into them again in the morning, and I need 4 drills. H14 is a kind of winey brown. Oh, please tell me I've got, there they are. The one thing I absolutely hate about having the kits is not knowing that you've got absolutely every colour you need. 1, 2, okay, this was 1,000 that got started, so let's use this. I'm going to need quite a few of them out, so let's do this and do this. Leave that where I can see it, and dispense. Alright, so this comes down, I guess, to consumer awareness, okay? We get it a lot, certainly over here in Australia, where they wanted to have things Australian made. So what they do now, they've got 2 labels. You've got Australian made, and you've got, I think, made in Australia. Now, the made in Australia gets the kangaroo logo. The Australian made doesn't mean it has to be made in Australia. Now, I could be getting the terminology slightly wrong, so forgive me if I'm off here, but the premise is you've got the guaranteed Australia, I guess, for want of a better term, which is designed, made, manufactured, assembled, packed and shipped from Australia. Or you've got the Australian who has a store or has a business, and they commission a foreign company to manufacture the item. You get it with teddy bears, you get it with clothing, you get it with all sorts of products. Okay? Even the... Now here's something I learned the other day. Just to segue a bit. Oh, excuse me, itchy nose. When my husband decided to buy me a new dishwasher to ease my burden with stress and everything else, we went into the local appliance store, and the salesman there was saying, okay, you can have a Bosch, or a Bosch, for instance. However, the $700 Bosch has plastic guts, and it's made in whatever country. The $900 Bosch is a metal inside, and it's made in this country. And then you can have this, and it's made in Germany. We haven't had any faults with any of the German products. Okay. He knew not to go to the next model up, because that was already way out of our budget. God bless my poor husband, who tells me, can I get you something for whatever? It might have been my birthday, and I ended up going well over budget, because he wouldn't tell me if he had a budget initially. I was like, oh dear. So this time around with my birthday, not that it's a pissing contest, he's got me gifts that are probably half the value that I paid for his birthday present. It's not a pissing competition. Anyway, my point being, one company can manufacture in multiple different countries. It's still their product, but some are more genuine, I guess, than others. We used to have 2 cars built, made, manufactured in Australia. And this year, maybe it was the end of last year, anyway, within the last couple of years, Holden and Ford shut up their manufacturing. We no longer have Australian-made cars in Australia. We have whatever's left on the road, and whatever's left in the wholesale yard that was left over. Everything else is an import. Now, I'm sorry, I drive a Jeep. It's as import as you're going to get. Just like Ireland never had car manufacturing, US, you have huge amount of manufacturing. You have a huge amount of imports too, but you have a huge amount of manufacturing with your American brands and that. So it's a little bit different because you have more people. You have the resources to be able to do that. Just like Diamond Art Club can actually make and produce their product over there. Now that's not to say that they don't get the canvas made over in China, and that's why Tinmi or Hankin might not be able to copy the same canvas, because hey, you know, Yolin down here might know Shoes In up there, and the two of them get their heads together and go, you know what, if we get this and we get that and we put the two together, and yeah, it's going to look pretty cool. Not quite the same, but it's close enough. You know, it's about networking, it's about sharing resources. But I think I don't think I'd be wrong in saying that the canvas is not manufactured in the US. It might be assembled all in the US, but I would doubt it is 100% US made and manufactured. And that isn't a slight against them. It's the current economy and the way the world works, and we just can't manufacture all in one place. Now, one of the girls from the most recent DP-a-thon, one of the new Aussies, forgive me for not remembering your name. I did watch your show. It might have been Rebecca Schilling, actually, now that I think about it. Diamond painting journey. No, it's not. No, you're in the US. Oh God. It was an Aussie. Oh, I feel so bad now not knowing who it was. It wasn't Fiona Delbridge. She's over in WA. It was, yeah, anyway, it was one of the new ones. If I figure it out, I might put it into the description. Either way, she was talking about setting up a company. Her dream would be to set up a company who designed, stored, and shipped from Australia to, preferably Australians, I suppose, but they could, you know, just as easily ship to New Zealand too. Either way, it was about having facilities within our own country, rather than putting an order in and waiting 6 weeks to whatever, or 2 weeks to whatever, for a diamond painting. And we just don't have the facilities. She didn't go into any of the setup costs or anything yet. She is let's just say wide-eyed and maybe naive. She's not being foolish about this. She's just hasn't done her research yet. Wide-eyed and naive in how she is going to go about doing this. And look, it's a business. I don't know sometimes how businesses deal with having stock on hand and not knowing if it's going to sit there or if it's going to move off the shelves, and you're going to have items that do move and then you're going to have items that don't move, and how all of that works and how you get the costings and everything else. Anyway, I think it's a fantastic dream, and as I said to her, I would love to help brainstorm, if nothing else, because there's no guarantee that I can get off my rock on Tasmania. And for me to think about setting up a company in Tasmania that's going to ship Australia-wide, well, that's the first stupid move I would have made, because everything costs a small fortune to get off this damn rock. It's so much easier when you've got road transport on the road next to you, and you can go to any which state and you can put it on the rail, and yeah, we're already isolated, so yeah, that's not going to happen. Whether or not I'd move, well, don't know. We have things that keep us in the state, including family, so yeah, pipe dream. I want to travel and see Australia. I want to travel and see the US. I don't know if that's ever going to happen, but the idea of having warehouses here, it still wouldn't be manufactured here. I don't think it's possible. Australia has 20 million in this huge country that's the size of Europe. That I actually don't know what the population of Europe, Greater Europe, is. Hey Google, what's the population of Greater Europe?
Here's a summary from the website en.wikipedia.org. In 2010, the population was 711 million, defining Europe's boundaries as the continental divides of the Caucasus and Ural Mountains and the Bosphorus.
Hey Google, stop. 700 million, okay? Versus 200 million, I think you have in the US. In roughly the same area. Yeah, I think it's roughly the same area. I think Australia's, yeah, give or take a couple of corners, is about the same. Okay? You're talking about a great big vacant land down here. We don't have the people. And the people, I'm sorry, are so freaking arrogant that they're not going to take a pittance of a wage to dole out this stuff to make it actually affordable to sell to people who only want to spend 30-40 bucks on something of this size. It's just not going to happen. It's just a fact of life these days. Yeah, people have standards, people have rent, people have phone bills, and or drugs, legal or otherwise, like coffee and cigarettes. Food costs a small fortune. A loaf of bread is, you know, $5 minimum. Yeah, it's just cost of living. It's just beyond most people's budgets. So, having a storage facility within Australia would be fantastic to be able to go, okay, we've got this. I've got a store. Now, I haven't done a huge amount of website surfing on this store, but it's called the Black Framer up in the northwest of Tassie. I think their predominant job was framing, and then somehow they've got into crafts and they've branched out and they do the diamond painting. I think what they do is that they order from things like AliExpress and they kind of on-sell it, sort of. Don't quote me on that one. Whereas my local craft shop is called Image Superstore or something. What they do is actually sell and do classes on scrapbooking predominantly, and then they sell diamond dots as a local agent. Now, Spotlight in Australia also sell diamond dots, and while Image Plus have a catalogue for anything they don't have on the shelf and they can order it in within reason, they can't even access the full diamond dots range. And again, they charge overheads because they're a solid land-based building and they've got overheads. Tassie Framer is the same. Tassie Framer actually got in, or the Black Framer, they got in those little vacuums for the drills, and he had a markup. It wasn't a ridiculous markup, it was maybe $2 or $3 more. He, I think, also had these little funnels, pop-up funnels. These are awesome. These are on AliExpress for about $1. My husband buys this kind of stuff as Christmas presents and stocking fillers because they're cheap as chips and they're useful as all hell. I used them to fill my first set of these jar containers, and they were fantastic. So I've seen them sold by other people for, I think, $4, possibly even $4 US. Again, buyer beware, please. If you have a tight budget, don't support the people you can't afford, or save up if you really think that they've got something that you have that nobody else has. And this is the key, I think. Diamond Art Club don't have what everyone else has. That's why I want to buy them. There are pen manufacturers, not manufacturers, sorry, I'll rephrase that. There are pen crafters who have identical products. In no particular order, I'm going to name some. Okay, there's DrillPenFrenzy by Donnie. There's HappyHippoFinds by Elizabeth. And there is Tiny Pufferfish, I think, that does some. And there was another one. There is another Etsy store that also has diamond painting pens. Now, some of these stores carry the same kind of pens. Okay? Rachel doesn't carry the same pens. RachelRaeCraft doesn't carry the same pens as the other stores. So she can have her more individual pricing. She also carries a much heavier weight pen. I can't see one of hers. I'm not going to go digging right now. But her pens are different quality. They're a unique pen, and they're not copied by other stores. Okay, I have seen, let's see, this one, or this style, the short, fat pens. I've seen this style in multiple craft stores on Etsy now. Multiple craft stores. They're a really popular pen. Now, I've seen them range from around about the $4 mark to the $10 mark. How much do you think a pen like that costs? Maybe $1. I went into Big W on the weekend, and my husband was looking for a particular item, and while I was there I was trying to keep Sophie quiet in the sling, who was having a conniption every time I stopped walking. So I stood at the end of a gondola, and the end of the gondola had all pens in cases, really pretty pens in cases, the kind of pens that would make potentially really, really nice diamond painting pens. And having the little presentation case was kind of like an added bonus. I'm kind of thinking, oh, and the brain's ticking over, and the brain's kind of going, could I convert? And what's the inside like? And, you know, could I do it? And I'm looking at the pens, and they're only $3 each. They're not expensive. But for me to make the profit on them, I've got to have my stock of pink pens. I've got a few. It's not a huge issue. But then I've got to think, how long is it going to take me to convert each one? Could I buy cheaper? Could I buy, because you sure as eggs is eggs, Big W are not paying $3 for these pens. Big W are probably paying 50 cents if I'm, you know, even in the ballpark for these pens, and they're selling them at $3 each. Everybody makes a profit. Everybody in the chain of consumer. So it's just down to what range of profit, because these pens could sell in the dollar store for $1. I bought these. These. Do you see this? That says 24 bags, right? That's a catering box of chocolate that I haven't opened yet, actually. I'm being very good. That's a whole psychological issue for some other day. But anyway, that's my chocolate stash. Yeah, I saw them in the dollar store, shiploads in Australia, and they were selling that box there for $7. Now, I bought an individual packet when M&M's caramels came out to Australia, because when I was a kid growing up, we had chocolates called peanut treats and toffee treats. Okay, peanut treats were like the size of a coffee bean. They were peanuts and they were covered in chocolate. Toffee treats were their cousin, and it was a lump of toffee the size of a peanut covered in chocolate. Oh my god, they tasted divine. And then they stopped making the stupid things. And they stopped making my favourite ice lolly too. It was a strawberry ice lolly. It was awesome. Anyway, I digress yet again. So, again, my point is, Woolies had them on sale for $2 each. And then they discounted them to $1 each. And when they were $1, I bought some. And I had them. Okay, they weren't as good as my childhood toffee treats, but that's not the point. the point is, the dollar store got them in catering boxes and were flogging them off. So they got them in a carton of the 24, and in those boxes they were stacked on a pallet, and there was probably, I don't know, let's just have a ballpark figure of maybe 50 cartons on the pallet. Okay? There's no way Shiploads bought them for $7. There's no way for Shiploads would have bought them for even $5, probably. Shiploads probably paid half the price that they're flogging them to me for, and have made a huge markup. Can you imagine how much something like Woolies is making by their markups for the exact same item? They are now trying to sell something else. The only thing I really love about Shiploads, ooh, squirrel, butterfly, whatever. I'm gonna come up with, my husband and I actually do butterfly, but for some reason that had slipped out of my head with all of Sherry's squirrels running around. But Shiploads actually have diamond paintings on the rack. They have they were my very first diamond paintings, and they were $8 each. $8 for a partial. People, somebody's making a profit here. And not only that, is they are, I think it's drill shiny, some of the kits, because I remember now looking back, and they were drill shiny. They were abysmal. They were supposed to be 30 by 30. You were lucky if they were actually 25 by 25 in the actual image. It was so freaking blurry you couldn't see the thing. I still struggle when I look at the horses to see which one is the head up and which one is the head down and where the head is, and yeah, it's really, really bad because it's so small. They also have, I think it's Diamond Art Club, the girl with the butterflies and the back and the drippy thing on her back. They've got those too. All for $8, and I'm looking at them, and you know, I've got other people standing next to me and they're pulling charts off, and I'm kind of thinking, oh, really, seriously, people, don't buy these. You can buy them on Ali for like $2, $4. You can do so much better than $8 to ship loads. But that's what we do. People buy on the storefront for convenience. You know, it is what it is. So yeah, chocolate doesn't cost that much. Yeah, Shiploads, one of the bonuses of Shiploads is, I don't know why they do this, and I don't know why the Irish or English even do this either. I don't get exports. But anyway, Shiploads actually get in Irish chocolate, and Shiploads get in UK made chocolate and sweets and lollies. So we can get Maynard's jelly babies, like the real jelly babies with the icing. No, not the icing sugar, it's corn flour on the outside of the jelly babies, or corn starch on the outside, and they're awesome. Love Maynard's. Or who's the other one? Maynard's do the licorice as well, and Bassett's is the other English company. Well, I can get them if I shop carefully in Shiploads, and I have got I think they're English eclairs in one of my drawers. Yeah, I'm not sure how they ship them, but I do check the labels religiously. I'll look the bars. They get the multi-packs, and there's still plenty of time on them date-wise, so it's not like they're going out of date. One of the treats that I used to like, at Christmas time, they bring out the tubes of lollies, or tubes of sweets, or whatever you want to call them. So there'd be Smarties and jelly tots and fruit pastilles and fruit gums in the tubes. And I used to love them at Christmas time. I would get one, I think, every year when I was a kid. We'd also get the big tins of seasonal sweets to share. So yeah, there was always this the kind of, you know, the Christmas treats with those sweets, and we'd have a Christmas tin of shortbread. No, not the shortbread, the butter biscuits. you know, the ones that they're really short and they melt in your mouth, so they're kind of like real shortbread. Excuse me, tea. Going cold. It's my bedtime. Yeah, so I like when my dollar store actually does that. And that's probably the only occasion where I'll kind of go, you know, I don't care how much profit you're making. It's Irish chocolate, or it's Irish sweets, or it's something that's a reminder of home for me. And sweets and chocolate would be that thing, because I think the only money I ever had as a kid was when I was in boarding school and we had tuck shop, and we could go and actually buy lollies from the tuck shop, and that's where my hoarding came from, because I was hungry as a 9-year-old, and at some point in time I didn't like the food. One of my school friends said that one of the nuns actually used to hold me outside the refectory, the refo, I think we used to call it. Anyway, he used to have me outside the ref, and they'd be holding me while I'm chew, and I couldn't swallow, and I think I did that with peas, and still to this day I struggle with peas and legumes, excuse me, because of the texture. Yeah, hang-ups. But yeah, I used to then hoard food because I was hungry. I think it was like, have you seen them in Demi Moore, the SEAL team thing, where she's doing the SEAL team training, and they are told to chow, and then they end up getting chow for all like 2 minutes. They're told to chuck the food in the bin, and when they do, they the trainees actually grab food and shove it in their pockets. It's all kinds of gross. But these guys were hungry, and they needed methods in order to withstand what was going to happen in the next rotation, I think, of hazing that they were going through. And the next part was actually the nighttime essay writing in a dark room that was really warm with the soft music, and who the hell's not going to fall asleep? So, yeah. Demi and one of the other recruits who had the stolen food were chowing down on the stolen food to keep themselves awake and writing the essays. And I think it ends that scene with the guard with the moustache. Gosh, that was a moustache. Anyway, he comes in and he wakes her up, and they move on, and he becomes her SEAL team leader, and she saves his life, and yeah, blah blah blah. So yeah, food hoarding. You do it to survive, and you do it to get through certain things, and I don't fully understand it. I haven't fully explored it with anyone who's trained. I will someday, because I'm curious. I like to understand how the brain works, particularly mine, because mine seems to be all kinds of wacky. Yeah. Oops. Alright, now I'm going to need more black because it's now time to do my outline. And look, I had one I prepared earlier. And all I'm going to do is swap the lids, because at 11:15 I can't be arsed doing it correctly. Always put your lids on, peeps, just in case you knock them flying. Alright, now let's get I'm gonna get this back down. surface because it's just not up enough now. Just going to fill in the outline on these colours that I've done. I'll take a picture and be done for the night. Yeah, so look, when it comes to buying, you know, you might have a storefront even. You know, you've got to understand when you've got international companies, they can't all source their stuff from the country that they're in. If you think McDonald's, Burger King, or anyone else sources all of their items in the country that they're in, well, you know, fair play to your innocence, I suppose. But it's probably more cost effective for them to do things like printing. I'm not talking about the manufacture of the food, because that's probably got to be more locally sourced. But in saying that, I think we've seen the eternal burgers that don't decay from McDonald's, so maybe they are made in other countries too. I see it on jars all the time when I'm purchasing food though. Made from Australian ingredients and imported in other cans. And that includes things like honey even. We get blended honeys and they're not all from Australian. You know, it's just how the world works. And yeah, if you have a store next to you, unless it's like a, well, I don't actually know. I've heard the term mom and pop store. Now, whether that means the mom and pop actually make everything, well, you see, that's the thing. Unless the store is actually making everything, there's no guarantee it's coming from your state or the country. And it's the same here. In the supermarkets, for instance, there was something said about the baking. And I think it was like, if you think that your bread is being made fresh in your local store by the 2 or 3 people that are in the back of the kitchen, which there's no way in hell they could do what they do in that size kitchen, you've got to be dreaming. A store I used to work in Ireland, we actually had croissants. Now, we had a bakery, and the bakery did make bread, and the bakery did make cakes, but the croissants were not made by us. The croissants were made elsewhere and frozen. And what we would do as a company, we would take them out, put them on a tray, defrost them, allow them to rise and do their thing, and then cook them. So they were cooked fresh, but they didn't originate from our local store in my local town. They may not have even been made in Ireland. They may have been made in France and shipped across. But they were being sold as hot croissants or warm from the bakery, you know, having cooled down a small amount, but having been freshly baked in store. You can get half-baked, I was going to say pans, but what they are, P-A-I-N, French bread. You can get them in the supermarkets these days. I think they actually have the brand name Deli France. They're not going to be making them necessarily even in Australia. They're going to be making them in France and shipping the things over frozen, half-baked, and you get to bake them here. It's just how it is. So unless you know something is being made from scratch, chances are it hasn't always been sourced locally from local ingredients. Yeah, it's just the way the world is these days. Um, it's just a global economy, that's all. That's all it is. It's not bad. I hate the exchange rate. Oh, the exchange rate hurts. I bought 2 diamond paintings. And this is the other thing, look. I look at, let's name and shame for a minute. I look at Diamond Art Club, and some of the paintings that I've just bought are Graham Gherkin's. It is gherkin. It's Gercken. It's gherkin, like the pickle, which I jokingly say. Anyway, Graham Gherkin's paintings on Diamond Art Club. They're not big paintings. They do them in 30 by 40, give or take a centimetre. Okay, I think one of them might be 32 by 40 or 42 by 30 or something. But they're pretty much 30 by 40. 30 by 40s for diamond painters are pretty small. They're, on rounds, they're pretty much a snack in between our bigger paintings, like this, which is I Miss You, and it's, I don't know, 55 by 70 or something. Okay, you get the idea. Graham's artwork, and I don't begrudge paying for a licensed artwork in this, but Graham's artwork is $30. Now, do you think many people, you included, seriously, think about this, would you go onto AliExpress and would you buy a 30 by 40 for $30? I don't think so. The thing with Graham Gherkin is you're buying the artist's work, and that's, I think, key for me. So I ended up buying 2 of his autumn things, and then the shipping got thrown in on top. Alright, so there's 2 paintings for $60 and then the shipping for another $30. That was $100 US, and then I've got to pay my exchange rate on top of that, and that is where it hurt, because our dollar is so poor at the moment. The 100 US ballooned into stupid money, and this is why I've said on the lives and stuff, I said I've got $300 of goods in my cart, I think, or my wish list or something, on Diamond Art Club, but that's not 300 US, that's coming out of my pocket. It's actually more like $500-600 Aussie, and it's like, can I really justify spending $500 on 5-6 Diamond Art Club paintings? And it's not so much about can I justify 5 or 6 paintings, it's can I justify what they are, what they might mean, because they might mean something, because it's a Mandy Manzano piece and it's part of her outreach series, so it might be Who You Say I Am, which has a sentimental meaning to me. It could be Sneaky Cat, that reminds me of my old cat, who is, I think, must be pushing 19-20, because I think she had had a litter of kittens actually removed from her in utero when they spayed her. So she was old enough to have kittens, so she was at least 9 months old. We got her after we arrived, my ex and I, in Australia in 2000. And so we actually got her in 2001. 2019 now. So she's probably 19 years old. And Sneaky Cat actually reminds me of her. Sneaky Cat is this big, shaggy, potentially a black cat, in those gorgeous colours. Can I justify $78 for a diamond painting? Well, I can on AliExpress when it comes to something like an Evermoment, because they're not cheap. But I tend to pay more for the sentimental value than I will for something like the Celtic tree knot that I just bought. So while I wouldn't necessarily pay, what is it, 52, 56 for some of the Mandy Manzano pieces. Some of them. That's just not my style. I'm not into the princesses, or I'm not into the style of the picture, or I'm not into that princess, or whatever it is. But there are certainly some images that I would be going, oh my god, I want it, need to have it, should have it, why should I have it, and justify it to myself, and eventually get around to getting it. In saying that, Sneaky Cat's out of stock, so I'm on the email notification list. So my money is staying in my unseen account, so I don't go and spend it. I know it's there, but it means I have to go and check it if I want to see it, and it means that I need to plan in advance if I'm going to get it, which is good. I need that. I need the brakes on, so I don't have a no buy. I just want to make a sensible buy when I do make that move. I actually got emailed a buy two get one voucher the other day. Now I can say what it is because Diamond Art Club have said what it is, and I didn't know if it was a secret or not. But anyway, I got this buy two get one free voucher the other week. It's a one-time only voucher, so once you use it you can't reuse it, because I tried, and then I found out that it was a one-time only voucher by Diamond Art Club saying it on the page. And I bought some paintings that I hadn't gotten yet, and I bought them all at reasonably equal value so that I could get an equal value painting. But yeah, Sneaky Cat wasn't one of them. I don't know what I've done, but I think I maybe had Sea Melody in my wish list and now it wasn't, and yeah, I need to go through my wish list because there were some duplicates or ones that I kind of thought, oh yeah, I like that, and then changed my mind, so I need to cull it a bit. But in the most part, yeah, Graham Gherkin is up there as favourites. Chuck Pinson is quite good. I did have a bit of an issue with the Graham Gherkin sunset painting. Again, I think it's 30 by 40 and I think it's too damn small. Sorry, Diamond Art Club, but I can't justify paying $30 for a picture that will be pixelated to that degree. I think I saw Donnie had completed it and I didn't like the lack of detail. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous image, and I think it should be probably 40 by 50 minimum. That's just my thought. And I might contact Diamond Art Club because look, it's definitely an image I would like to get. It's not part of a series per se, but it is part of Graham's work and style, and I like Graham's style. So yeah, I will definitely pay more money for something that I collect like that. Just like I've seen Elizabeth collecting her pop dolls. Some dolls I'm sure she's got at a good price, and others she's paying more for because she really wants that, or she really wants part of the set. It's what we do as collectors, and I think we've said before, there's doing the diamond painting and there's collecting the diamond painting. I was talking to somebody on, I think it might have been Rebecca's live this morning on, what is it, Diamond Painting Beginner's Journey is her YouTube, and we were talking about stashes that we had, and they said, somebody said they had 300 in their stash, Oh, no, actually it wasn't Rebecca's. I was chatting with Nancy from Fancy Nancy Diamond Painting. And we were talking about stashes and she said she had 300. And I went, oh, wow, I don't feel so bad now. She has been diamond painting a little over a year. I have been diamond painting coming up to a year now. In September, I think, was when I finally succumbed and started buying canvases, and I went mental buying canvases because I kind of thought, well, these are dirt cheap, these are on AliExpress and shipping's going to take forever, so I better order now. And oh my god, the first waiting for the first few diamond paintings was hell. Do you remember those early days when you were diamond painting? Yeah, the first few weeks while you're waiting for your shipments to come in, and then it was like, I'm gonna just keep these rolling over and keep buying and buying and buying. Every week I'd buy, or not every week, every pay I'd buy another kit, even if it was just one, depending on the cost. So fairly early on I bought a couple of Ever Moments, so I did one, and because of the free shipping you're not having to consolidate any shipping, which is I suppose what will put people off, and that's why... Was it Rebecca? No. I wasn't listening to Jennifer, but Jennifer bought two. But I think it might have been Rebecca. Bought two paintings because who wants to pay shipping? You know, it's just how it is. If you can avoid shipping and get diamond paintings that you want, why not? Because you're going to buy them anyway at some point. It's how we convince ourselves that we're doing the right thing, hey? This is taking me an awful lot longer than I thought. What am I up to? Just over an hour and 12. But I don't want to leave this unsticky. I don't know when I'm... Well, it's not a case of don't know when I'm going to get back to it. It's a case of I need to also work on my custom. During the week, I find I have an awful lot less time to diamond paint than I do at the weekend. My husband had said to me the other day, not that he missed me sitting down and watching TV with him, because sometimes he's over at his computer over in the other corner, and we still talk to each other. Goosey. But sometimes you just want to, you know, sit down with your other half and rest yourself against them and, you know, touch knees or arms or, you know, rub backs and that kind of thing. And, yeah, he was kind of saying, I miss you. So you've got to make the effort to connect with the people in your life, and I try and do that. He goes to bed early some nights. I don't like staying up too late, but my sleep has been a bit all over the place with hours. But I still get up in the morning at the same time because Sophie wakes, and you know, she wants feed before I go to work, and then we've got alarms set to get up out of bed, and yeah, if I didn't have that I'd be stuffed. But yeah, I don't often get a chance to sit down and do diamond painting during the week, so I enjoy it when I get to it at the end of the week. And then I've got recordings to do, and it's not a chore because I have to, it's because I want to. I get mail during the week and I want to unbox it and show you what I've got. I want to catch up and show you what did I show you the other day? I showed you me doing my blank canvas tutorial to show you how to do counted diamond painting, which when I get through the round square version, I should probably get an actual name for this one. Maybe I should call it a roar. So I've done the round kit from the company. Now I'm doing a round kit in the square pattern on a round canvas. The thing with this is the colours are identical to the square, and this was the whole purpose. Okay, many people will get the identical kit in round and square, and I've noticed that when you do this, the companies are changing the colours for whatever reason. So the tone might stay the same, but the colour or the DMC number is different. And while there's background on them, this is my main concern really about doing this project, is when I do the blank round canvas, I don't have a background colour. I've got the white of the canvas, so I might use makeup. That'll be a dollar store trip, because I don't have any makeup. I've got my colours that I actually use on my face, and that's it. I don't have play makeup. I just don't wear makeup. I think I wear makeup maybe twice a year. I just don't have time. I don't have the maybe I don't have the vanity anymore, if you call it that. I don't necessarily like the feel of it on my skin, so I just don't bother. And when I had kids, I didn't have the time. When I first got to Australia, I didn't work, so I didn't have to, and maybe I just got more used to it then. I certainly wore it as a teenager. Badly. I really wore it badly. I didn't have a mum to show me how to put makeup on. I didn't have sisters who showed me how to put it on. I don't even know if my sisters wear makeup. My eldest sister was extremely minimalistic. I don't think she wore makeup either. Mum did. She's got her stash of lipstick, and I think I've got her pressed powder compact. I can remember the smells of her makeup, but I don't think she did, because she got sick when I was a kid, and Dad probably wouldn't have put makeup on her. He might have put lipstick on her, but that would be probably the extent of it. So no, I didn't have the whole makeup regime to watch and play with, so I don't have a stash of eyeshadows and things like that, so I'm sure as hell not going to go and spend ridiculous amounts of money on something that I'm going to be putting on the diamond painting glue. Now, Diamond in the Rough Fiona did mention about using a translucent powder. That could be something I could do, because that's just going to powder the back. But then I think the reason I was going to use eyeshadows is because it actually had got the pigment in it, and it was to try and diffuse, I suppose, the white. If you can see with the diamond painting that I'm doing, it's round, but the blocks behind it are square, because it's filling in the gaps so that the colours kind of spread, I suppose. They certainly don't have the white background. So I'll see how it looks as I get on with it. I'm doing grids in 10 by 10, and I have done, I want to say about 6 panels so far. So now I'm going to start going the length of, well, it's not actually the length, it's the width of the painting. And yeah, we'll see how we go. It's going to be a slow progress doing the round counted diamond painting, because you're having to cross-reference the grid all the time. I've made a template to mark off my 10 by 10 square, and I've tonight made a second template so that I know where my edge is of what I've just started. I don't quite know how I'm going to stick it. I'm still nutting this out. I've been using my cover minders to stick down things so that they're not moving and shifting under me. I'm using a highlighter now to highlight the edge of the square so I can line it up with the next one, because when I start getting into the middle of the picture, I'm going to start getting lost as to where my grid starts. So yeah, I've gotten an orange highlighter that hopefully will contrast enough, and if it gets to it, I'll just change colour highlighter when I get over to the more orangey section, so I can still see where my plot is. But the idea being, I'll get this round finished first, because that will allow me to cross-reference the square canvas. It will allow me to double check my photocopy, because there are some streaky bits and I don't want to get the drill colour wrong on the couple of bits where I had a bit of a shine with the plastic cover when I photocopied it. So yeah, slow going on this bit, and then I've got the hopefully faster square. I'll divide it up into maybe 12 sections and crack that one out of the park. That's the plan. So you will actually be able to compare a round and a square colour for colour, and see the difference in the round and the square. Now Mrs. Coffee has a way that she films her completed work. I haven't done that for mine, as in she does a little kind of video with the phone. I don't tend to use my phone to record. I used my phone, I actually used my iPhone the other day with my how-to on the blank squares, just because it's a recording device. It means I don't have to take my cover off. My Android, I've got a OnePlus 5T, and I can set it up in the stand, and it was good to go. So it was handy, although it played silly buggers when it came to transferring it and then uploading it. So I had to upload it to Google and then download it from Google to my computer so I could edit it, put in beginning and ends, and then upload it back onto YouTube. It was ridiculous. So not the way it should have gone. But iPhones don't talk, and I don't know what was going on with my downloads or upload speeds, so it took an age to get it anywhere. Whereas if I had my Android, I could probably just have thrown it onto my computer in a matter of seconds, because it's just Apple. They lock things down, they keep things their own. Yeah, but we get there. It's very, very late. My husband's going to come out to me in a minute and probably say, "Oi, Pippa, come to bed." My house has gone to sleep. All the lights have gone out. Except what I call my bridge light, which are the lights above me. My tea has gone cold. I still haven't finished it. And I still have this black outline to do. And I don't do multi-placers. Even for these. My blue tack, I don't know what's going on with it. I don't know if it's just that it's dirty. But lately it's just been rotty to use. Maybe it's the drills. Maybe they're just dirty. And they've got this kind of seedy dust layer or something. I know... I think it's Jennifer. Roberts. Jennifer uses hand gel because she wants to stay healthy. And when you're working in Chinese factories, you don't necessarily come to work when you're not sick. So you're going to cough and you're going to sneeze and you're going to spread your love all over your gems, and then there's the dust. And we don't know what's in the dust. It could be carcinogenic. But Jennifer uses hand sanitizer. I'm terrible for that kind of thing. I never seem to use... I wash my hands, but I never seem to do the hand sanitizer. Did when we were visiting my mother-in-law in hospital. I'm getting rid of that. There was hand sanitizer to be used as you walked into the ward to keep the patients sick, from being sick, getting sick. Because, you know, hospitals are germy places. And the last thing we needed was people getting sick when they were already compromised immune-wise. So yeah, I'm not adverse to it. It stinks to high heaven, but if it's going to kill the bugs, then go for your life. I used to use, this is a bit of a tangent, butterfly. I used to use peroxide solutions for excuse me, surgical cleanliness, for want of a better term. So if I got a cut, I'd use the peroxide on it and it would froth up and do all sorts of lovely things to the bacteria that might have been there. Well, my husband is slightly more masochistic than that, and he uses metho, and if he gets cut, he will put the metho on. Now, my hands are shocking. When I get cuts, I invariably will end up with getting inflamed swelling in the area, and I will have peroxided it when it's happened, and I will still get inflammation because hands touch tables and chairs and everything and don't necessarily get cleaned as often as they should. Certainly not in my case. That's all I'm talking about. And when I was using the peroxide, as I said, they'd get inflamed and red. Use the metho. Nothing. This stuff stings, but the sting is like it's killing the bug sting. It's awesome. So he's converted me, and he giggles when he knows he has sold me on the metho. To the point where his kids were getting cuts, and I'm telling them, go get the metho. And the kids are looking at me going, oh God, not you two. Because they hate the metho because it stings. But they haven't had a limb fall off them either. And they certainly don't have the infections that I would probably have gotten had I used peroxide on them. So he wins again. I think a bit of a running joke with us is that he's always right, but he's not always right, he would say. I'm kind of going, yeah, right. He has had many life experiences, my man, and has learned from a lot of those experiences. So he can be right when he's experienced it. It's not just a, I'm saying this. Oh, you know what was funny? Here's a bit of a butterfly moment for you. My son was here today. He's 20. And he was talking about stuff, and I'm kind of thinking afterwards. He's got a very interesting point of view still on this young pair of shoulders, this guy. He was talking about he was talking about a few things, but one of them was the power company that we use, and he's going, no, but it's owned by Taz Networks or whatever. I'm going, well, that's not who's on the bill. The people on the bill for us is Aurora, because he corrected me. I said, oh, we got an Aurora bill, or we were talking about renting or something. And he said, no, it's not Aurora, it's blah blah blah. And it was just the attitude of him. Now, it wasn't a bad attitude, it's just this young 20-year-old who reckons he's right. And I kind of thought, after I dropped him home, it was just like, oh man, was I that young and that kind of arrogant in how I talked? When was it beaten out of me? I hope it was beaten out of me. I hope I learned. I know my siblings used to shush me, because I got a big hang up about being told to shush. And I kind of got this inferiority complex, I suppose, that, oh, what would Phil know? She's just blah blah, or, you know, she's a baby, or whatever the comparison was. So I kind of shut up and shut off as a result. But yeah, I'm wondering if I was coming out with garbage like this, and while I didn't correct my son, it was just like, yeah, you're still black and white thinking, which is it. It's a teenage thing. Don't get me wrong. Teenagers think in black and white terms in certain circumstances, and he's still thinking about the black and white circumstances. So he'll learn that it's not all black and white one day. He might say that he already knows, but that doesn't make him any less. He wasn't arrogant in his delivery, but less black and white, let's say. Not everything is black and white, and I didn't have him in my influence for a little bit, so I don't know what his father was teaching him or permitting or anything else. While I was gone, didn't have me around to criticize him, tease him, cajole him. Didn't have his siblings around either. He was living over in the UK for a while. So yeah, he had a couple of years as an only child, after having the big little sister and the two big brothers to tell him to shut up, and his head was up his ass, and all the things that big brothers do to little brothers because they think they're saying silly things. So yeah, I think he's also learned not necessarily to say things, but when he does say things, I'm kind of thinking, ooh, that's a bit yeah, short-sighted, not so knowledgeable. I don't know. self-assured maybe, knows the ways of the world but doesn't. Finding out how employment in the state of Tasmania is not so nice. There's not that many jobs out there. He said he needs work, but it's the wrong time of year for the employers. We're too far away from Christmas for the Christmas recruiting to start, and we're too far into the year for the vacancies to still be there. And yeah, my daughter's in the same position, but she's got physical health issues that she can't do full-time work like she'd want to. So trying to find something that suits her as well is even more difficult. But her brother is perfectly able-bodied and can do whatever he chooses to do to a point. He actually said he wants to work with a particular company, and he wants to get into like gaming media, so journalism for gamers, I think, is the ultimate goal from what I could understand from what he wants, which is an interesting zone to get into, and I don't know how he could. I did say he could check out Weta that are over in New Zealand. Weta are a digital imaging company that do special effects. Weta became famous, I guess, with Lord of the Rings. I can't think of his name. Not Christopher Columbus. Might have been Columbus, but he did Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, and there was a few other Aussie or Kiwi-made movies that used Weta in the early days. They started off like an Aardman Studios, very, very small crew, wet behind the ears. Made a couple of movies. Did such a good job that were then seen on the world map, and kaboom, they now have traineeships and everything else. And my son was saying, I can't go to New Zealand, where am I going to live? And same position as being here. And well, he's going to find the same in the industry here. Tasmania just doesn't have the industry, but he does need training. And while he can get trained, he's looking at the university, and those are kind of options. So we wait and see. But yeah, he has slightly funny ideas about how the world works. But he's had some amazing opportunities, being able to live in the UK for a year and a bit. Got to travel around Europe as a young man, and has had some opportunities that many young people just don't take, whatever. And I think good on him for doing so. He did have work after he returned to the state from the UK, but I think that work has dried up, so he's waiting for more work to start up with him, and in the meantime wants to do something else. So he doesn't want to do graphic design, he wants to get into journalism of some kind, which in a way is quite ironic because his dad is a journalist in a very niche market. I don't know if my son can write. I did say that to him. I don't know what his English skills are like. I don't know if he needs to improve on certain literary things. He was using ineligible and legible, I think. Interspersed. Oh, that's not the right word. Oh my god. Interspersed. When he was talking this evening, and I'm thinking, oh, okay, you need better English. I think I've got pretty good English. I actually started out proofreading for my ex, and then I started writing for my ex. I was writing his words, but we did kind of collab a bit in what was being said. I'm wordy. I will write as part of de-stressing. Get up. I enjoy the process of spinning words. I haven't really written stories. I'm more kind of journal my own stuff, if anything, invent. Yay, I'm done. I think I'm done. Get that off. I'm seeing shines on all the spots. I'm not seeing any blank spots. I have a girl. Alright. Oh, that looks amazing on camera. Wow. Alright. Pen. Oh. My jar is getting quite full. Oh. There we go. There she is. I miss you. With the butterfly on her hair. Now, I'll need to go through Tina's sparklers and get all the colours, but I was toying with the idea of maybe putting some sparklers through her hair to get the shimmer. We've got a little bit on the butterfly clasp here. I've got some in the flowers down in this lower section. So it's only a smidge of the ABs, but yeah, I kind of thought, oh, maybe I could do some colour swaps with the sparklers, but I'll finish it and take it from there. Yeah, but looking on the camera, oh my goodness, it looks gorgeous. This really looks like a butterfly on camera, because it's, I don't know what it is with the camera effect that takes it that next level up. The camera is the same distance, probably, you know, centimetre for centimetre almost, but I think it just gives a wider perspective and it just pops. So the ABs, can you see that little glimmer under the antenna in the wing? Just here, or a little cluster of ABs. But the shine from Diamond Art Club drills far out. It's just, yeah, the camera doesn't do it justice. Oh, you can see it there with the lights shining and how much it shimmers and shines in the camera. That's wow. Yeah, and the rich colours, and I'm watching the just the swirl. So we've got 1 colour, 2 colour, 3 colour, 4 colour, 5 colour in that in the stained glass, just kind of layering up, and then you've got the stars. And I might actually put ABs in the stars too. I think actually there's ABs in this. There's 141, I think, is one of the ABs, and that's, oh no, it's not. I don't have the white ABs in this kit. So I do have white ABs though in the round from Tina. So what I might do is put the ABs as the stars and maybe as the butterfly antenna. And there is a stray black. Oh, it's not a stray black, it actually lives here. Get in. Oh, I'm going to get my pen. Well, it's my bedtime. I don't know what time you're going to be watching this, but if you're watching this, it's in your own time. Oh, I hate that squeak. Some drills clicking and crunching here. Why aren't you going in? I don't think I've got drills in the wrong places, or spare. I know some of them seem to fall out. I've got so many pens. My mugs are a little bit full. But yeah, she's gorgeous. I can't wait to see this when it's finished. It's going to be so exciting. Alright, good night. I'm going to bed. You might not be, but I need to go to bed before I get summoned. I'm put in the naughty corner. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening to me as I blabbered about my experiences with websites and companies and countries of origin. So please, yeah, just be mindful. The websites doesn't necessarily mean your company is going to be from there. It doesn't mean they're going to be bad either. But just be a conscious shopper, perhaps. Know the worldwide market that you're dealing with. Yeah, just be aware. What about that? Yeah. Oh, that's what's going on. That's been a bit of a deal. Alright, my diamond painting has been put to bed in an old Evermoment tube. I need to cut open another one that my custom is in, because when it goes to the 2 rolls it won't fit in, squished up. Either that or I need a fatter tube, which I could get if I go to the post office. But anyway, I'm tired. Flutterby's need to go to bed. Thanks for joining my WiPnChat. This has been way longer than it should have been. Thank you for listening to me rattle on, and I will see you. You'll see me at the weekend, because I have goodies coming this week, and I'm going to share them as I always do. And I will see you, well, most of you, some of you, I will see my creator friends when I go and check out their YouTubes, because they download on a regular basis. So, thanks for watching. Bye!